All right, everyone. So, welcome back to the new Cognition School episode here. I have a very, very special guest here today. We have Peter Blazevic, who's actually one of our clients as well from the cognitive side. And believe it or not, he is one of the most prolific golfers that are up and coming in the U.S. college stage. So, I want to welcome you, Peter. But I've
Thank
got
you.
a little bit of an intro that I've kind of put together, did a little bit of background on you. So tell me if this is true, and you can correct me as we go along. So you're originally from Mississauga, okay, and you burst onto the Canadian scene, winning 6 CJGA events in one season.
Yes, I did. Good research. Good research.
And you captured the 2017 Canadian Junior Golf Association Bantam Order of Merit title.
Yes. Yep.
And you earned a spot on Golf Ontario's Team Ontario High Performance Squad. Is that correct?
Correct.
Awesome. And then I've got another one here. You qualify for the U.S. Junior Amateur and Inverness Club at just 16.
Yes, correct.
You represented Ontario at the 2022 Canada Summer Games, where you fired 2 eagles en route to an individual bronze medal.
Yes. What a day that was. Good research. That was a fun day.
And then fast forward to today, you are now the heartbeat of the University of Wisconsin-Parkside Rangers. Now, okay, correct me if I'm wrong on this one. It says you owned the school record for birdies, eagles, and par or better rounds.
Correct. Correct.
And you posted a career best 68 and earned an all, is it GLIAC
Yeah, the conference. Yep.
conference, right? While leading the team in scoring average.
Yep. Correct. Good
This is
research.
crazy. This is crazy. So, I mean, you've had a tremendous career. So I definitely want to get into some of this stuff. So growing up in Mississauga, right, I mean, obviously we're in Canada. We have 4 seasons here, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, what got you into golf in the first place? I mean, knowing that, you've got this big, quote unquote handicap because we're
Yeah.
in Canada, right? How did you
Yeah.
get into golf?
Well, my dad, he introduced me when I was probably around 2, 3 years old. Just started giving me a plastic club to hit, and yeah, just kept hitting, and then it got me my first real set when I was 4, and then from there, kind of just took off. And he got me my first coach around 7, so that's when I started taking lessons and started learning more about technique. And then he got me into my first tournament, and for 9 holes, I shot 42, which was like he was like, "Wow, like that's pretty good." And like I was like, I didn't really know too much about the rules and all that, and I was pretty impressed myself. I believe I made a birdie that day, so I was pretty happy. And from there, it just kind of took off. My goal was to always place top 5 in the U.S. Kids World Championship on in North Carolina, and that was every first week of August. It's actually a Netflix documentary called The Short Game, and me and my dad were featured in it for like
No
a couple,
way.
yeah, for a little bit. It's during the rain delay scene, and I grew up playing with all those kids, Alan Kornikova, Jed Dye, and the closest I got was 6th place. I had a putt on the 72nd on the 54th hole of the tournament with like 100, 200 people watching when I was 10, and yeah, just unfortunately missed it, but just grew up playing those events, got to meet some really cool people, got to meet Nick Dunlap, he's a PGA Tour winner, and then grew up playing the Golf Ontario events. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and a lot more fun to come with my future.
So, I mean, obviously, like, I mean, how old were you when you said you shot 42,
I was
48?
7, and then so my coach and I, we had a goal. It was first break 40, so I did that for 9 holes, and then it was break 36, which I did around 9 years old, 8 years old, and then that I remember specifically at 10. My goal was to break 30 for 9 holes, and I almost did in Niagara. This course called Peninsula Lakes. Shot 30 for 9. I had a putt on the last for 29, and that was just our goal. We always wanted to get better, so we just kept pushing the limits. Like I remember that 6 weeks before the U.S. Kids Worlds, we have a plan, and each week we do our our short game practice, or we do our mental training, and we'd be out there working on a certain move and going up and down games and just getting prepared. So we were always trying to push the bar, just trying to be my better self. Like that was always my goal in it. Playing an individual sport like golf, you're always trying to do that. You're always trying to be better, be one better than you were before.
Wow. I mean, guys like us, we struggle to even get that, in the first like three holes. Yeah, I mean, did it just feel natural for you? Is that just, I mean, you
Yeah.
just knew how to make contact with the ball and
Yeah, well, my dad, he grew up a hockey player, so he's got an athletic side to him, and he kind of showed me when I was young, and then he introduced me to a coach early on, which I feel like definitely helped. But he just like I picked up the club and kind of just had a natural swing to it, and with a lot of hard work and practice, it became a lot more natural. But I feel like I've always had it in me. My dad, he picked up the game after hockey, and I just feel like from what he's taught me and my coaches, I just always kind of had it. And with work and all that, it's gone a lot better. But I feel like when I started, it was definitely, there was some talent there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we always talk about, is it natural talent? Is it developed talent? It sounds to me that you had some natural ability to obviously hit the ball and, with the club in your hand, right?
Totally. Totally. It definitely started like I knew like he showed me how to hold the club, but and I took my first swing. He's like, "Wow, like you got something." So there's definitely a little bit of natural talent there, but with all these accomplishments that you named off earlier, it's been a lot of work to get there, and I'm sure we'll dive into the training and the mental side to all of it because there's
Yeah,
a
for
lot.
sure, for sure. So, and who was your role model growing up
Oh,
in a golf world?
that's a good question. Well, my dad, he just pushes me to be better every day. I see how hard he works at his job and the sacrifices he makes. In golf, though, how can I not say Tiger Woods? Tiger Woods was a big role model. Just how he changed the game, how he brought fitness into the game, his mentality of wanting to win and just not win by one or two, but by a lot. It's just something I look up to, and just how he changed the game is incredible. So definitely Tiger.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I remember watching him in the first Masters at was it 18 or something like that,
Yeah.
and he was just killing it. And
Incredible. He changed the game, and that '97 Masters win, it showed that he was for real, and just incredible what the career he's had and the ups and downs of the game. But it's pretty cool that watching that and watching his success, it motivates me.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's get into a little bit about your junior golf days. So tell me a little bit about this year, 2017, when you won six PJGA events. What was that like for you?
That was pretty cool. It was. I just remember I was just chip like my short game was so good, and like I just, the long hours on the chipping and putting green of playing up at like we'd play this game. It's par 18, so it's an up and down game, and each hole's a par two, so you got to get it in and two, and you pick three easy up and downs, three medium, and three hard up and downs, and you just be creative, different lies, different situations, and you put pressure. So we play for like a soda or something. So against my friends. So we keep it competitive, and those long, like not long, but like those fun competitive games is what I feel like helped contribute to that success of that year. And when I had that situation of needing to make that up and down the stretch, I made it. And like I specifically remember that a certain putt I made at one of those tournaments, like nervous as hell, and came down, just went through my routine that I've always done before. I'm like, this is just another putt during my matches for a soda, and I poured it in, and it's cool winning a lot because in golf you don't win a lot. You lose a lot more than you win, so you got to really cherish those wins because they don't happen a lot. So winning six times in one year was really cool, and that's what we all work for as high level golfers to try to win each week.
And what's really interesting, even as we're talking, it's almost like you remember every shot that you've made in your
Yeah,
past.
every shot. I feel like from this past college season to even when I was younger, I remember moments and like the smells, like the sounds, and like what kind of lie that was. It's a weird memory of like, even like courses I've played, I know the holes, and like, it's just, I don't know if that's hardwired in my brain, but like, I just feel like each situation just like grows a callus on my brain. And I just feel like I just remember it so clearly.
So speaking of memory, are you like it almost sounds like you almost have like a photographic memory. Like you can almost like you said, you could smell it, you can
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
Do you find that kind of applies in other parts of your life, like outside of golf? Or
Yeah.
is that just more really more golf?
Yeah, it's, my mindset on and off the course, I'd say is a little different. I'm a little more laid back and relaxed, where like in golf, it's like I'm kind of taking in every situation. Like I do that in my personal life too, but I'm like I'm always assessing the wind when I walk, or like I'm always trying to get information. Like, because like this is like, it's so important to the next shot, because
Yeah.
I got to know what the wind's doing. I got to know, what's that doing over there? Why is this lie like this? So I'm always assessing, and like in a round of golf, you're always trying to take in information, and trying always to help you. Like, information is good in golf, and that's where, like, obviously when I'm driving, I gotta take in the situation of the cars and all that. But I feel like in golf, it's just hyper focused, and there's a more, because you want to do well. Like, I care, and there's a sense of like, I want to do well, and my mindset is just more like driven, and always taking in my surroundings much more.
Do you think do you find that sometimes you overanalyze? Because it sounds like you're collecting a lot of information. I mean, do you ever go through moments where it's like maybe I'm taking in too much, or making something so small into something so big?
Yeah, no, there's definitely times when you're not playing how you want to, and you start over, like, especially it can happen on the greens putting, where you start overlooking at stuff. You start overlooking break, and you're so focused on the line that you lose track of your speed. And as we all know, as golfers, speed is one of the most important things in putting. So there's definitely been times where you can overthink. I think back to my best rounds where you talked about the summer games, and it's more of like, see shot, pick target, go. But yet you're doing all that information. But
Mm.
like, it's almost like it's just, you're not even thinking about it. Like, where you start over analyzing, and you start worrying about this and that, where your mind is so clear when you're playing well. It's like boom, 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 and hit shot, go, and then forget about it. So it's more of like, you're doing the same thing, yet it's more of like it's just simpler. And I don't want to say, not you're not thinking as much, but it's just like, you kind of just see the shot, you know what you need to do, and you pick the club and you go. And that's when I play my best golf. It's so simple, yet I'm doing those, always like judging the wind, judging the lie. How do I feel? I'm doing all those things, yet I'm keeping it pretty simple. So I feel like that's when I'm playing my best golf, is doing all those things, but yet making it simple, because we play a game that's, so we don't look at the target when we play. Where, like, say in hockey, you shoot the puck, you're looking at the net. So it's a lot of it is behind the ball routine, kind of visual. I like to visualize a lot when I play. I'm trying to see my shot shape and all that.
Hmm.
So I'm doing a lot of that, and I'm just seeing my shot, and then when I step into it, it's full commitment.
Does your brain ever get tired from that over kind of, bringing in information and processing it and
I
thinking about it? Because you're talking about 18
Yeah,
holes, right? Like, I mean, that's like,
yeah.
what is it, a 4 hour deal? Like,
4.5, yeah, 4.5 hour day. Like, and then like, especially in golf, you're gonna have to wait, like, a lot of times. You're gonna have to wait during a par five when you have to go for it, or like due to slow play. I can't tell you how many times in college where we've just waited 20 minutes on a tee box because it's just backed up. And your mind, like, it's a balance of between on and off. Like, you gotta shut it off when it's 20-minute break, but then boom, when it's back on, boom, you gotta flip that switch. And I can't tell you how many rounds after where I feel like I'm more mentally fatigued than I am physically fatigued from competitive golf rounds. From fun, it's different, because the mindset's a little different. But competitive rounds, it's just you're just mentally drained because you're just there's a lot going on. You want to do well, and yeah, it's a long day. It's 5 hours of I feel like warfare of trying to battle the golf course and yourself. And I'm sure every person who's played the game knows what that mental battle is.
Yeah. Because I mean, to sustain that long, right? To process all that much. I mean, it's like those people that are running on the street. Like, I mean, they go for a little jog or whatever, and when they come to a stoplight, they just kind of keep, jogging on the spot. But you can't do that with golf, right? Like, you just literally got to shut down, and then you got to pick it up again. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, that's something that obviously it's almost like a muscle, right? Like, it has to be something that you work on consistently.
Totally. And it's obviously with experience, you learn how to deal with longer waits and all that. But every time you step on the course, there's going to be that challenge of that wait. And say you hit a bad shot, you're going to have to wait a minute or 2 minutes to walk to your ball. So there's always that battle of like, you know, hit a bad one, but then you got to like clear your mind. It's okay. Like bad shots are going to happen. Like we're human. Like obviously we're training hard and we want to do well each shot. We put our 100% into each shot, yet we know perfection is not attainable in this game. Like I probably hit one perfect shot around of what I visualize, what I see, the club I hit, and where the ball ends up. Like a lot of it is a lot of mishits, a lot of that's okay, but who's okay is the best. And there's a lot of scoring aspects that help you to improve your score, such as short game, management of clubs off tees and all that. So there's a lot of components to scoring well in golf. Like you can play well but not score well. So I feel like as we were saying, it's just making sure you do those things right and having a good mindset. And having a good mindset, there's a lot involved, and I'm sure we'll dive into it, but
Yeah,
there's
for sure.
there's a lot of components to it.
And in a tournament situation, obviously on the PGA tour, like you've got the scoreboard and everything, and I don't know how much people look at that when they're playing.
Yeah.
Does that kind of impact you as well? Like, I mean, because I don't know if do you guys
Yeah.
have scoreboards when you guys are.
Yeah. So we do live scoring on our phone. So we just plug in the score of our competitors. So usually it's a group of three, and then you can see the leaderboard like live time, what's going on, who's doing what, and it's different for everyone. Some guys like looking at it because it makes them feel like they know what they need to do, and some guys don't even look at it. Like it's just like they're in their own world, and I'm sure it's different for every player, even on the PGA Tour. Do I look? Do I not? Um, it's not going to change what you do. I feel like, as a golfer and in life, you have control what you only have control. I can't control the player to my left or the player to my right, but all I can do is hit the best golf shot I can at that time. So for me, I feel like I don't like to look at it. I've had the mistakes of looking at it and changing game plan, and it can be costly. And there's been times where it's helped. I've played a little safer, but I feel like for me and for most golfers, I feel like not looking at what other people doing and just staying in your own world is the best thing to do because you're humans. We can only control ourselves. And golf, there's already so much going on, so much you can't control, the wind, the weather, and all that. So just do the best you can, and I feel like let the cards play out as they do because that's all you can do.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, in hockey, there's a lot of players that have now brought on sports psychologists and helping to deal with the mental aspect of the game. Is that something that you work with as well, someone on the psychological?
Yeah, yeah. I've being on, as you said, Team Ontario. Had the pleasure to be selected for that for 3 years, and we had a psychologist for the team. He's a very successful amateur player himself, and his name is Dr. Charles Fitzsimmons, and it's helped a lot. Like I still talk with him to this date, and little stuff of like little mental tricks of I also heard Rory talk about this of always keeping your head looking above the horizon, never look down. Like that's a thing I try to do when I play. I never try to look down because that's when your body language starts getting like your shoulder slumped and you start looking down, that's when you start. It's crazy how your body language can influence your mindset and how like you can start thinking negative thoughts. And there's a lot of other things we do, a lot of breathing work we do. So we use this app and it's like a 5-1 count. We can when I'm on the course, I like to breathe, like we like to belly breathe, and because when you breathe through your nose, you can cause your. It's all about controlling your heart rate. Because like when you get in high pressure situations, you feel your heart rate get faster. You feel your hands start to sweat. As golfers when the intensity gets higher, your body well. Like the good athletes just know what your body does. So it's all about how we can control that. And I feel like with Charles, we do a good job. And it's still a work in progress. I'm still working on it, and it's never going to be perfect, and it's always a constant battle. But I do my best, and we have some stuff that we work on, and yeah, it's definitely huge for golf. Huge. It's so important to have someone to work with the mental side.
Yeah, I remember watching the Masters with Rory. I think he was walking, I don't know, there's a camera shot that he was walking down to maybe to the 16th hole or something like that. And you knew he kind of slipped a little bit there,
Yeah,
right in the last couple holes. But you could just see his body language. Like in our world, like we call it the 1 centimeter rule, right? So the 1 centimeter rule is basically, the difference between, here, like
yeah,
if I'm a little bit slouched versus
yeah,
like pulling a string like 1 centimeter, and then all of a sudden your chest kind of moves by that 1 centimeter, right? And all of a sudden it's like it's very different, right? And that's what I saw, like with that when he's walking towards from the green to the next tee, you could just kind of see him kind of like this, and he had that game face on, right? And he had to reset. So to me it's more like the psychological aspect of what Rory was going through at that time was more interesting for me than obviously the golf alone, right?
yeah. Like no one will know in his shoes what he was feeling in that moment, like that pressure and all that. But I'm sure with all his experiences, all his I wouldn't say like failures, but all his like his not getting it done, that he's learned that he knows what his body does, and he knows so well that with his game and all that, it's his mind was just there to carry his body, and like he's such a good player that, as you said, just being like shoulders back, being like breathing through your mouth, and it's just little things he probably did down the stretch, because like when he hit that wedge shot in the water, like I'm sure there was a lot of thoughts going through his mind of like, here we go again, like, and every golfer's been there, like, oh, here we go again, but he calm down. And as you know, golf, it's 18 holes. Like it's not done on the 13th. You still got 5 more to go. So he had a good finish, and it's incredible that he won. But it's also a lot to learn from the mental side of that round and what he did and what he overcame. Because golf's never like this. It's like this. Like we try to like keep it pretty like level, and there's going to be times where you hit a wedge shot like you don't want to, or you hit a drive like you don't, but it's how do you get back from like here to like here? You just want to keep that level, easy going, good mindset, and yeah, but
Yeah, and
some,
and you talk, and you mentioned a little bit earlier about, and this is something to you it's normal, right? Like, okay, what you mentioned earlier was if I mean, you could be slouched here. You talked about not looking down, um, and at that point you said all I have to do is just kind of keep my view on the horizon, and my chest goes up like this, and then your mind kind of follows your body or something like that. I think you said something like that, and that's not a lot of like how normal people think, right? Because they think, okay, I just have to wait for that moment until things turn around, and then my body will be more confident, or I'll be more confident after something happens, right? And what you mentioned is what in our world we call it kinesthetic, right? So you're using your body to change your mental state, and I think that's what you're alluding to. And to you, like, that's normal. To the rest of us, it's like, no, we're just waiting for that right moment to give us more
yeah,
confidence. We're waiting for the coach to give us more confidence. I don't think that's the case. I think it's really on you to do whatever you can to get, your body moving to then be able to go, okay, I mean, this is going to change my mental state. Like, for example, like just before this interview, I jump in the cold tub here,
Yeah.
and does it
Yeah.
feel good?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No.
But what your body feels then all of a sudden changes your mental state, and I think that's what you were talking about there. I thought it was just an interesting point.
Yeah. No, it's so important in our game. And I think back to in the fall in the college season, how self-talk, like I'm constantly telling myself, like, you've got this, you got this, like you're good. Like like constantly in my mind, like I'm almost like mumbling it to myself because golf is a big individual sport, and you kind of have to be your biggest cheerleader out there. And like, there's gonna be times where it gets tough, but you can't be like, yeah, you got to be tough on yourself, but you can't be defeating on yourself where you start slumping your shoulders and you're walking down the fairway and you don't want to be there. Like it's obviously, when it's not going your way, it's tough, but you got to have that mindset of like, no, I want it. I'm here. I put in the work. Like let's find a way to get through this. Like let's do this now. Come on, let's go. Like it's like you're constantly trying to pump yourself up because you don't have your coach on the bench telling you, hey, next shift, let's get it, let's go. Where it's a lot like yourself, and it's a lot, but you gotta truly want it, and you gotta truly believe it.
When you're playing younger, or when your junior days, like, what were your parents like when they're watching you on the course? Like, do they
Yeah,
say anything to you? Do they
yeah.
signal, hand signals? They like,
Nervous. They were nervous wreck. Yeah, like they were nervous wreck. Oh yeah, like sure. Like my dad's he's a pretty competitive guy, and he sees me do something, he just like, he would get frustrated and all that. Like in the junior days, you can't give advice to your kid. That's a rule.
okay,
Like so that is a rule. There's no coaching involved allowed. Like in college golf, we obviously have our head coach, so he helps and all that. But junior days, it's all on you. Like, and there's no caddies. They don't do caddies like back home. Like, and on when I played, when I was younger, like when I was like when you're below like 12 years old, you get a caddy. But like once you hit that high school age, it's all on your own. And I feel like they're just preparing you for college and all that, trying to get you ready. Yeah, I'm sure every parent, every high level golf parent knows the struggle of like, oh, why did my kid do that, all that, and just it's. I'm sure they love watching their kids play. Like I love when my parents they came to pretty much every event this year, so I love seeing them. But it's they say that that obviously every parent loves their kid and that they want the best, and but there's still that competitive side of like, oh, why'd you do that in hole 15? Like if you just mentally were better there and all that. My parents are awesome. They're competitive, but they sometimes get all nervous out there for me.
it's funny when you said there's no coaching in junior golf. I can only imagine if they implement that in hockey, where they said
Oh,
no coaching from the bench. You must stay quiet the whole time.
wow. I wonder, yeah, that'd be a cool rule. That'd be
That
that would change the game.
that would change the game a lot for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's quickly talk about your preparation, your routines. Just a typical snapshot of days at college today. What kind of preparation do you go through in preparation for a tournament?
So a week would look like this. So Monday it'd be like morning class till like 12:30. And then, go eat lunch and then go get the clubs and we go to the course. And we'd we go we go play nine, and then we'd assess our games. I go with my roommate, and if we need to go hit range, we go work on some things technically, or if we need to go work on our short game, we go to the chipping and putting game, and we'll go do some like we love a big thing was a lot of putting stuff. So like a lot of lag drills, a lot of like a lot of like intense short putts inside 8 feet. We do around the circle, pull like six tees and do some high press. We do this game called chase, so it's two people and we put four tees around the hole. We start on opposite ends and you're trying to overlap the other guy. And it's a really good and competitive short putting game, which I love and play hours of with friends. And so we'd probably do that till like, 4:35, come back, dinner, and then rinse and repeat. And then we get a day off like Wednesday or Thursday, and that like we're working out. We work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then in season it's 2 days a week. So Wednesday and Friday because we play on the weekends mostly, and it's intense. There's a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice. It's sometimes you got to sacrifice going out with your friends to go into the course to go work on your short game. So it's if you want to do well in this game, there's a lot of self motivation, self drive, and truly wanting to do well. Because I was lucky enough in the fall. I was in a final group every tournament, and there's no better feeling of playing for putting your work in, getting the results, and playing for a win. And there's no better feeling. And I'm sure it's like in hockey when you put in that work with your team and you're in the championship game. It's just highly competitive. You're playing against great players, and everyone wants it. And you're here, battle it out. Like you're battling the course hit, you're battling your competitors. So it's a lot of work. It's a full week and it's a full day. So it's a lot, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, and you know what's interesting about what you mentioned too? Like, I mean, we see chipping greens all the time, like when we go and play, and we're like, oh, okay, well, you'll put a couple, for like 5 minutes, or chip for
Yeah,
5 minutes. Oh, I'm not really good at chipping, so I won't do that. I'm just gonna work on my putts. Right? It's almost like the opposite of what we're normally used to. But yeah, I mean, but that's part of your routine. I mean, it's something that you just have to kind of keep working on, right?
totally. I've got my routines of what drills I need to work on. I like to. There's two different ways to practice in golf: randomized and block. Block is like you're hitting 107 irons in a row, working on a feeling. Where randomized is how we play golf. We hit a driver, you hit a 7 iron, you hit a putt, or you hit a chip. So a lot of golf is randomized. So we have to practice not only hitting 107 irons in a row to work on our technique, but we have to work on you know playing competitions, playing 3 whole matches, because if you get to the course and you've hit 100 drivers in a row, but you don't know what you specifically worked on, you don't know where the ball's going to go. So there's different ways to practice in golf. And I'm sure it's like that in hockey where you're working on a wrist shot from the slot, but then you get in a game scenario, it's a little different. You got to be in the right spot at the right time. So it's a relationship of between blocked and randomized. I'd say my randomized practice is definitely 60-70% of my practice because that's how I play. And the closer I get to competition, the more I ramp that up. I get away from I know my swing, I know my technique. Let's just now be competitive and get into those game situations. Put some pressure, feel that pressure, because when you're just on the range hitting golf balls, you don't really feel the heat like you do in a competition. And that's why I feel like to get ready, it's putting yourself in those scenarios, and you ramp that up closer to your competition because you're just trying to prepare yourself. That's what that's all athletes try to do. You just try to prepare yourself best for the competition. So you're not nervous. It's like studying for a test. You're gonna be ready if you've put in the preparation and you studied. But if you wing it, you're not gonna be ready. So it's like that in any competition, any sport, and all that. So
No, I think that's a really great point. I mean, it's preparation. We say luck is what preparation meets opportunity, right? So you're essentially kind of building your own luck, right? But you have to put in the work. You can't just kind of walk up and I mean, sure, you get those lucky breaks every now and then.
yeah,
Maybe you just felt good that day. And I remember playing my best round ever, and happened to be on the hardest course I've ever played in my entire life. And I was like, what happened there?
yeah,
But yeah, I mean that's something that I mean, golf is way more, I think, way more mental than hockey, just because it's an individual sport. You control everything, your goods and your bads. So yeah, off season, what do you do in the off season? What kind of stuff do you do to keep your edge?
Well, that's where I come to see you. That's where.
Now, you know what, and I'll tell you, maybe for the audience here, And the one thing that I remember when I was talking to your dad about, what we're doing here, and he basically said, don't treat Peter like a golfer, right? Because when he first mentioned to me, oh, Peter's a golfer, and I go, okay, never trained a golfer before,
Yeah.
but I've done, badminton, and I've done Olympic fencing and a lot
Yep.
of individual sports as well, and not necessarily just hockey. But I understood what he meant, and because
Yep.
obviously you think, okay, golf is like individual, it's quiet, it's not a lot of yelling and screaming and no running around, but there's tremendous amount of stress. So I remember when he said, just make sure you treat him like a hockey player, and
Yep.
that
No,
really
it's
resonated with me.
yeah, it's really helps coming to see you and like the mental training we do and the peripheral stuff. I feel like it's elevated my game. Like I had a really good fall and I had a really good year. And it's the little stuff that no one sees, like the stuff we do together. And I just it's all of that. It's training with you and then, being in the gym. A lot of off season training is getting stronger, getting more powerful. So more 3 to 4 times a week in the gym. And as we know, the game's changed. It's become more of a power game. So a lot more time in the gym, more indoor work, so more technique. If I need to change position of my swing, I'll do it with my coach. If I need to make an equipment change, that's the time I'll do it because it's off season. So yeah, little things like that, and then coming to see you, obviously, because I feel like it's really helped my game, and it's brought a new aspect of how I train, which I love because I'm always trying to get better, and I'm always trying, not trying, like I'm trying different things, and I'm trying to learn how can I become better. And as we were talking about earlier, it's how do you like my dad trained me like a hockey player, like a tiger. He trained like an athlete. He changed the game, and that's kind of what I want to do. I want to train differently to help myself. Yeah.
Did your dad like throw like clubs and stuff like in your middle of your backswing?
Oh yeah. He like the classic was like the pocket and the change, and he still does it to this day. Like rattles the change, and he's like not intense as Tiger and his dad, but he still does it because you get like it happens in golf where someone yells in your backswing or there's a weird sound and like once you're over that shot, it's laser focused, boom, and then feeling about whatever else, but like it's almost like when you're over that shot, like I just like I clear my like everything's cleared. It's just me and the ball. Like it's an ultra focused mindset of boom. It's just you and the ball. You know what you need to do. You put into practice. Be an athlete. Yeah, my dad tries to throw me off, but like when you have that ultra focus, that training with you, talking with my psychologist, you can overcome anything. And as the guys on the tour, they have that too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Obviously you've had your ups and downs. What were some of like your toughest kind of moments in golf when you're playing it? I mean, obviously it could be anywhere from, junior until today.
Um, I'd probably say like second, third year of high school during COVID. That's when COVID hit, and the world was changing, and no one really knew if golf courses were going to be open. And it was a tough period for me personally. Just being inside so much and not not having too much access to facilities and all that, and it was just a tough time. I really struggled with my game. My mindset wasn't good, and I don't know if it was due to what was going on in the world or my personal training, all that, but I was really struggling with my game, and I just couldn't really get out of this slump. And I was really struggling, and I was really questioning, like, wow, like is this game for me? Like I was having those thoughts of like, wow, like do I really want to do this and all that? But I feel like every golfer has been there at some point in their career of like, wow, like I'm really struggling, what's going on? But I did make a coaching switch and it just brought sometimes you just need a new perspective. Like, and it makes you more excited. Like in life, I feel like a little change here, a little just minor tweaks, it makes you more excited to go out and practice again, or more like you want to go out and do that. And I feel like that little switch kind of flip the switch, and I was excited to go out and train again. And then my senior year, of high school, that's when I was selected to play the Canada Summer Games, and I shot 30 on the back nine. I shot 67 in the third round, and I got a bronze medal that week. And I'll never forget that week. It was an incredible week representing the province and getting to play a really cool event on a cool golf course, and it just kind of kicked off my career in college, and I love it. And, it makes you, those slumps and those downs. I feel like it makes you stronger as a person, not only as an athlete, player. You learn more about yourself, and at your lowest times, I feel like you just you develop resilience and growth, and as a person, you learn how to get your way, not out of it, but you just how to fight through it. And yeah, there's a lot of times when I play where I'm like, oh my God, this sucks, but you hit that one shot, or you make that one swing, and you're like, I love it. And yeah, I still love it to this day.
It happens to me too, man. It's like, yeah, you get that one shot that keeps you coming back. So
Yeah,
no, I think that's awesome. You mentioned a little bit about the coaching change. And it happens in hockey too, right? Like, I mean,
yeah,
coaches change all the time, especially this season. But it's even as goalie changes in a game where,
yeah,
yeah, sometimes the coach will pull the goalie. It's not the goalie's fault. It's
yeah,
just, hey, let's maybe change something that might get the guys going. And I think that's something that you clearly kind of articulated there. Just having that fresh perspective, I think, is also important to kind of give you a little bit of a boost sometimes. So I think that's
totally,
important.
totally.
Yeah.
And like when I came to see you, like I'll never forget the first time. I was like, oh, what's this? I was so like, is this really gonna help my golf? Like I was so like, and I feel like in life and like at anything, like when you first do something that it's a little different or a little abstract or a little like, I guess that's just in our DNA. It's uncomfortable for us. We like to go to comfortable things, and like it's like, is this really gonna help? But like, okay, next session, all right, I get this, and okay, third one, it's a little better, and it's like I love it now. I love going, and I feel it helps so much. And it's just you got to get through that growing pain, right? That like initial like, oh, I don't like this. This is uncomfortable. Why am I doing this? And it's like that with anything in life, but from work to school to anything. So you just got to get through that initial like, I don't like this phase.
Yeah, I think I always tell people that there's a difference between the word confidence and courage, right? Courage feels awful and confidence feels awesome. But you have to go through courage to get to confidence. And people think that confidence just gets delivered to you in a package and you just all of a sudden everything feels great. Well, no, you kind of have to go through those moments of, like, I mean, in marathon they call it a wall, right? There's that wall
Yeah,
when you're running in a
yeah,
marathon and you feel like crap the whole time and you feel like, oh, I should just quit. But you can't. You just got to keep going. And once you
just keep
pass that
going.
wall, all of a sudden it goes does one of these. And I remember, I ran my first marathon and yeah, like it felt like crap for the first 4 or 5 kilometers.
Yeah,
And I'm like, what am I
yeah,
doing here? You kind of question yourself. And
yeah,
and but then you go, okay, this is that wall that people keep talking about. And once you get past it, it'll opens up for you. Yeah. And now as far as like your college golf goes, are you playing 18 holes or do you play eight more than that?
yeah. So we play. Say we get there Thursday. Play practice round. Hotel, and then we're playing. So some tournaments are 36 holes the first day. We'll start at 8 a.m. shotgun, play till like 12:30 lunch, and then 1 to 5 o'clock. So we could be 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. days. That's some tournaments, and then we'll finish up the final round the following day on Saturday. And then some tournaments are just you play the practice round and then 18 holes, 18 holes. So it depends on some tournaments are 54 holes, some are 36. It all depends on the event. But yeah, as you can imagine, the 36 holes are long.
Oh, those are
Not
long.
only physically but mentally. Like the last 9 holes is like you're kind of just you're hitting the ball because you've played that hole already, and you're just like, let's get in the clubhouse, and you got to sustain your energy and all that. So it's 36 holes are a lot, and they build a lot of mental strength, and I've learned a lot from those days playing in those rounds.
And what do you do from a nutrition point of view to kind of sustain yourself for those
Yeah.
types of days?
Well, I like easy digest, like banana, peanut butter banana sandwich. I like I like drinking like BioSteel. I'm a big big BioSteel guy. Even like sugar, like a Gatorade at the end just to keep me going. Sometimes it can get hot down the stretch, and it's like, 20, 25 degrees Celsius, and like it's just like, it's you gotta make sure your energy is it's how we were talking about before with your mindset. You gotta keep it like this. You may need a little spike at the end because you're pretty fatigued and you can feel it with your body, but like you need to keep pretty level. So I like having like, bananas, peanut butter and banana sandwich, some almonds, just stuff to keep my like our coach gets like these fig bars. They're like Nutri-Grain Valley bars. I like having those. Applesauce. Pretty easy digestible things because you're walking with your clubs and you don't want to upset your stomach and all that. So
Mm.
making sure your salt, your sodium and your electrolytes are good, and getting some salt and having some fast digestible carbs to get the energy to keep you going in a long day. Because we're walking like 10 to 15,000 steps with a 20-pound bag on our shoulders. Like it's like you don't think of golf as a physically tasking sport, but like when you're carrying your clubs and all that, it can drain you a bit, and that can mentally fatigue you, not only physically, and that could cause some things to go on. So you got to make sure your energies are good, and that you're still plugging away at it, especially after a long day.
Yeah, no, definitely. That I think those are good tips because like you talked about, like you don't want something to kind of bloat you and make you
Yeah,
feel a little bit, kind of like you don't want
yeah.
your inflammation or anything like that, right?
No, yeah, you don't want McDonald's, McDonald's or anything like that. Even though it tastes good, that's just
Yeah,
not ideal for high performance.
yeah, yeah. And I know you didn't play hockey, but you played soccer growing
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Do you see kind of any parallels between some of the mental, even some of the cognitive stuff that you've kind of seen in golf that you feel might be able to translate to a hockey player? Because obviously hockey players are more about team sports or having a coach like
Yeah,
constantly yelling at their, in their ear and stuff. Whereas golf is like totally, isolated. You're alone for the time that you're playing. But obviously you've built this mental resilience over the years. Is there anything that maybe a hockey player growing up might be able to learn from something like that?
I would just say, um, I guess the work ethic, both sports are, you got to practice. There's an individual component of working on your skating. Like I see my cousin, he's playing AAA hockey, and both sports have an individual component of working on your craft and getting better. Like I see Nathan McKinnon, he's in the pool getting ready before there's stuff behind the scenes. And the comparison I would say is the mindset of, every shift or every shot, putting your 100% in, like giving it your all. Like you can't just go on the ice and just go around the ice, and you got to have a plan. You got to have that vision of seeing that puck, or like that visualization, I think component's huge. In golf, I'm trying to visualize my shot, where and maybe in hockey, you visualize that puck off that boards. Boom, I gotta be in that spot. Like there's always the guys who score, they're always in the right spot at the right time, but that's not based on luck. That's they see the game, and that's kind of like golf. Like I see that shot, I see that ball flight, I know what it's gonna do, and that's just through work, through time, through playing it, you develop that visualization of seeing those shots, those scenarios. And I feel like there's that comparison, even in soccer too, like being in the right spot, seeing the right pass at the right time. Like there's a comparison of visualization component to it. And I feel like, at a young age, that's something all young athletes can work on, is being better behind the ball or before you step on the ice, or even when you're on the ice and you're seeing the play develop. And that's where like, I work with you, or I work with my psychologist. We're trying to be better visually and with our peripheral. We're trying to always become better with their mind and with their eyes and see the game from a different perspective.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic because I always think that even hockey players like they should almost train like a golfer in some ways, right? That there's an individual component and what you can only do what you can control. I find that there's not enough of that in team sports, that if they only focused on the things that they can control, then they can really perform well. But you know, in hockey or any other team sport, you're always looking at your peers. It's like, what is this guy doing? What's that guy doing? Like,
Yeah.
right? And so you worry more about that, and that's just the nature of the sport. But no, I think those things are super important. Um, and so let's talk about your goals at Wisconsin. Like, what's kind of like next step for you? Like, what do you want to accomplish for next
Uh,
season?
yeah. Next steps, I want to get a definitely a win. Like I've cracked the top five so many times. I've top 10 probably over half the events. I want to get the win. It's one shot at a time, as you know. It's one hole, and I definitely want to get a win. I want to play nationals. That's down in Florida. They're gonna play it in a week. So play good golf in the spring season. That'd be huge for me. And yeah, so and then I got summer golf lined up. I got the men's amateur that's up in Deerhurst Highlands up north there, and I got my first summer event first week of June. I'm playing the men's match play down in London, Ontario at Terradawa. So play well in some summer events, and I'll be ready for the college season. But every tournament is an opportunity, as we talked about. So I'm looking forward to my opportunities, and I'm really excited.
And typically, what happens? I mean, whether it be you or for some of your colleagues or
Yeah,
your your golfers as well, that where do they typically go from after finishing college?
yeah. So my roommate, he's graduating, so if it all depends what your goals are. If you, I want to pursue it professionally, so I'm probably going to give it a shot. But we're here for school, so if your major is business, finance, sport management, look for a job in the industry of your expertise. I got a teammate. He lives in Florida. He's gonna go play mini tour events, and he's gonna give it a run. So it all depends what your goals are. Um, yeah, so you can, go like our school provides good opportunities with internships. I with my major, I've worked with the athletic departments. I've for anywhere from game day promotions to ticket sales to all that stuff. So it's at school, I feel like I've learned more of what I don't like when I do like, but that's important because you know what you like and you know what you want to do in the future. So I feel like I really like the coaching aspect of motivating the boys. Like I feel like I've taken that leadership role on, and I love, like, let's go guys, come on, we've got this, like, and obviously lead by example, but saying the right things at the right time. Like even in hockey, like a good coach, yeah, they say the right things at the right time, but sometimes, as you said, they pull the goalie, or it's making the, like, you got to be bold to be a coach, and you got to take risks, and I like doing that, and I feel like I like teaching the younger guys and sharing that wisdom with the boys. So maybe I am in a coaching minor, so maybe something in the coaching development, but definitely number one goal is definitely to pursue it professionally. So
That's great. And what are you studying right now?
I'm just in sport business, sport management. So
Management. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes
anything to
sense.
do anything to do with, like, I took an athletic fundraising class. I was in personal branding NIL class, so we talked about all about what the NCAA and all its new rules about collectives and the NIL world, and yeah, so I like it. Sports has been my whole life. I love it. I keep up to I'm keeping up with the playoffs right now. I hope the Leafs get it done today, but it's we'll see. We'll see. It's been my whole life, and no, I some that I could see myself something in the sport industry.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Do you have any kind of tips for, okay, and I'll give you the scenario. Do you have any tips for someone that is say maybe they're playing double A hockey, single A hockey, like they're just kind of playing,
Yeah.
to kind of be with their friends and whatnot. And maybe they're considering more of an individual sport like golf, right? Any tips for those types of, athletes that, yeah, I played, hockey. I didn't play AAA. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go anywhere with it, but maybe this golf thing might be interesting.
Yeah. We actually have a teammate who did that. He high school played hockey his whole life. He's from Burlington, actually, Burlington, Ontario,
Okay.
and so he grew up playing hockey, and then he made the switch to golf high school, and he got a coach. He played with his friends and all that, but he found a coach. Actually, the guy I was previously working with, and developed his swing, and and he just continued to work at it. And he's with us now, and I'd recommend getting out, practicing and playing, but get a coach, get some guidance, get some leadership, get some path. I feel like when I have a team around me, I got you, I got Charles, I got my swing coach Sean, I got mom and dad. It takes a team, I feel like, for every athlete, and I feel like that'd be a good direction because I couldn't do this alone. Like I can't, my parents are coming to pick me up today to take me back home. Like it takes a team to around an athlete, and I feel like if you're gonna make that switch from hockey to golf, have people behind you that are helping you. Like when I got recruited, I had a guy who was helping me with the recruiting, and I he got me those those phone numbers, and that's what I reached out, and it takes a little help and a little guidance. It doesn't happen just by yourself. So I would say get some coaches. Help coaches help. They're here to help.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And I
why
think,
they're
I
there.
mean, exactly. And our intent is obviously to just help people as much as possible. And of course, you can do it yourself, but it just takes much, much longer. And I think some people kind of think, okay, I don't need a coach. Like I'll just do it myself. I'll save a couple bucks and
Yeah,
and do that.
yeah,
And yes, you can, but you can YouTube it, you can go on Instagram, maybe take like a 30-second
yeah.
tip and stuff, but it's not the same, right? It's not the same as
No,
as someone
it's
having you there.
yeah. Social media, it's built for. It's like the fairyland. I feel like it's perfection, right? There's no mistakes. Coaches, they've been through it. They've made mistakes. They've gone through it before. Like our college coach, like they know what we're feeling. They know what we've done. It's that wisdom and that guidance. You can't get that on the phone or on YouTube or Instagram. It's because it's through a screen, and you don't know what that person's personal experience and all their experience has been before. So I feel like with coaching and people who've had that wisdom and who have had those experiences, they know they can share that wisdom with you because they've been through it before, and they know what they made mistakes, and that's what life's all like. You learn from your mistakes in life. Like when I play around, I learn from that shot that I made a mistake, or I learn from that scenario, and you get better as a person because you just develop from mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the only way to learn. I always tell people like I've probably fallen flat on my face even doing what we're doing here. Like I go, okay,
Yeah,
this didn't work. Okay, let's switch it up. And then yeah, so but you don't learn until you actually go through it. And I think that's probably the biggest things that hold people back is that kids are afraid to make mistakes and so they don't
yeah,
do it. Right? Or that
yeah,
they don't get into another sport because they feel like they're going to suck at the beginning. Well, of course everybody
yeah,
sucks at the beginning,
yeah,
right? But maybe
yeah.
you could have been potentially someone great because if you kept working at it. So it's definitely something
Totally,
that
totally.
you know, yeah, yeah,
Like our great, yeah, great. Like our team we went ice skating during the winter.
yeah,
Yeah, one of our team, he's from Minnesota. He played he played high school hockey in Minnesota, so he's a pretty good player, and just skating laps around me. But it's like it motivated me to see the stuff he was doing and all that. Like I could hold my own, but I can't do the stuff he was doing. But like that's where like you just if you love it, you're gonna keep working on it, right? So it's just if you love what you do, you're gonna continue to work even if you're not at a high elite level, but if you love it, you're gonna put in work, and who knows where that may take you, right?
exactly, exactly. Just that open mind, right? Keeping that open mind to to try different things and try, if you fall flat on your face, you have a coach hopefully to kind of pick you up and go, okay, if you do it this way, it might be a little bit, better for you. So yeah,
Totally.
no, that's great. Okay, so I've got a couple other questions, but these are all kind of rapid fire before we kind of
Sweet.
close it up. Favorite course you've ever played?
Toronto Golf Club.
Toronto Golf Club. Is there one on your bucket list that you haven't played yet?
That's a great question. Hard not to say Augusta National.
Mm.
I'd say in Canada, I've heard Cabot Cliffs. Cabot Cliffs is really nice. Out east. I've always wanted to play the National in Woodbridge. I've heard that's pretty good.
I used to be a junior member there a long time ago. Yeah, beautiful course.
I've heard it's hard. I've heard it's hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely you can't Augusta. Like it's just Augusta. It's
Hey,
Augusta.
you never know. I think you're gonna get a chance to play there for sure.
I hope.
Absolutely.
I hope.
Go-to pump-up song.
Let's see what let's see what we're listening to in the van. We were on a big Nickelback. We were on a big
Yeah.
Nickelback. Yeah, we were on a big Nickelback kick this year. We were like Burn It to the Ground.
Yeah.
I like because like half our team is Canadian actually, so like we got a lot of that hockey like pump up songs. So we were
Yeah.
bumping a lot of like Nickelback, and so yeah, definitely Burn It to the Ground. That was on a lot.
I could see that. I could see that. Yeah. Okay. Most clutch shot you've ever hit.
CJGA. We're in Tampa, Florida, Innisbrook. I'm in a playoff. My dad's caddying for me. It was the first time I won this event 3 years in a row. First playoff hole, it's par four, hit a drive, just missed the green. I got like a 12-footer slider. The kid tapped, he two putted for par. This is to keep the playoff going. And my dad was like, he was like nervous and he wasn't even hitting the shot, let alone. And I'm like, I think I was like 12 or 11 years old at this time, and got up and stuck to my routine, and I made it in. And the next hole, I proceeded to birdie and won the event. Probably that putt in recent time. I gotta say that second shot I hit. There's that Legends on the Niagara at Canada Summer Games, third round. I already made eagle on a hole 11, and this was the 18th hole. Hit a perfect drive, hit 6-iron from like 185 to like 4 feet, poured it right in. Shot 30 on the back nine, and that was to get in the final group for the final round, and that was pretty nice. Making two eagles on the back nine, make two birds, shot 30. Like it was just one of those days. It was just like, wow, that's why I play this game, right? Like it's just those kind of moments.
That's unreal. That's
Yeah,
unreal. You know what? One of these days I'm gonna come watch you. Probably in the summertime for sure.
we gotta play. We gotta play this summer.
Oh, you got to teach me. No, I've played, but I could probably take a couple tips from you.
Yeah, we'll get a game for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. One piece of equipment you'd never mess with.
My driver. Never. Yeah, that's a strength, and I'll never touch. Like it's just, I love it, and I hit it so good. Never will touch it. Never get it. Yeah.
I definitely want to see that too. Last one. Best advice you've ever received from a coach.
How's it going? I'd say one shot at a time. I love like all my coaches like the last text would be like, "Hey Pete, just play one shot at a time." And it's so much more bigger than that because like it's like there's so much involved in that one shot, but it's like, hey, just focus on the present. That's pretty much just sums up the game or sums up this podcast as a whole. It's just focus on what you can do in the present. You can't control what happened in the last hole, or can't focus on what's the next whatever, how many holes are coming up, but just control what you can control. Put in the work, give it your all. So just play one shot at a time.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fantastic conversation, and I hope that a lot of our audience and hockey players and parents and coaches all get to see this, and we're definitely gonna put this onto YouTube for all of our audience. But I truly appreciate you coming on, Peter. This has been absolutely fantastic. I hope you have a safe drive back.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely see you soon. You've been in our building, right? The new one?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I
So
haven't. I have. Oh, yeah, yeah, I have. I have. Yes, yes,
yeah, I think you have. Yeah,
I
yeah.
have. Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
we look forward to having you here, and thank you so much for coming on again. I really
yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to getting that golf game in and helping helping you on the links.
Awesome, awesome.
Awesome.
Well,
All right.
so this concludes the today's episode for Cognition School. Again, we'll publish this on onto YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe, share with your friends, because I think this episode is going to be fantastic. So thanks again, and we will talk to you very, very soon.
Thank you.